So starting off, beginning of the issue came when the guys dumped the trailer. It wouldn't go all the way up, and then they dropped it. Guys took it out the next time. They lifted it all the way up, didn't make it all the way up, and when they dumped it, it gushed a bunch of oil out of this reservoir right here. There's the pump right there for the cylinder that lifts it. And what I'm thinking happened, I looked in here and there's white oil in there. And when it's white, that means there's air in your hydraulic fluid. Which what I'm thinking is it ran out of fluid, it didn't have enough in here, and when they lifted it all the way, it pushed some air from there into the cylinder. And when it went back down, that air came back through and pushed it out of the reservoir. So what I'm doing right now is I am siphoning this into here, and we're gonna lift it all the way up, and I'm gonna loosen that bolt right there at the bottom of the cylinder. And when I do that, all that oil in that cylinder is gonna gush out the bottom into my pan, which would drop this bed. All the oil, this will be empty. All the oil is gonna be down there. Once it's down, I'm gonna re-tighten that bolt back there, fill this guy up proper, lift it all the way up, lift it all the way down, and ideally, nothing will be coming out of here anymore. So, let's see. Okay, you guys, so a little update here. My original plan is not going to work, but I want to show you a couple things. I was going to undo that bolt right there. Started stripping it because it's just so locked on there. So, to drain that from the bottom of the cylinder, followed that line through here, right to there. So I'm going to unplug it right there and let this bed drop, and I'll be safely over here. Well, it drains out right there. But I also wanted to show you too that when I lower this, I filled it up enough to get it raised up all the way, but as it goes down, this reservoir fills up because the oxygen that's in that cylinder is mixing with the hydraulic fluid. So essentially we should see this come up and it'll be a little milky as it comes back into the reservoir. A whole lot in there that you can see, but all those bubbles, that's what's making it milky. And there might not be a whole lot in there, but it should be clear like that. If there's no air in there, you shouldn't be getting bubbles. So we're going to raise it all the way up, let it drop, and see what it looks like coming out of the bottom. It didn't take much to get this to start dripping. I don't want to take this all the way off. I mean, I probably could if I needed to. Here we go. So this is what I was talking about, spraying out because of the pressure. Yep. So I'm gonna have to keep this controlled and not film while I do this. All right, well, this is making an absolute mess. You see all that, how it's milky? And the bed is slowly lowering. But that oxygen is increasing the volume of the fluid in there. So, wasn't enough room.
So after that, Will just filled back up the reservoir and went up and back down with it, and noticed that he's still getting air in his hydraulic fluid. So there must be a air leak somewhere. Maybe the container, the canister could be bad. Could be a cracked fitting or a leak in the hose somewhere or something. So at this point, we're going to take it to our mechanics, let them trace it down, and see if the hydraulic repair mechanics or whatever can get it fixed for us. So if it wasn't something bigger that was the issue that we're now realizing, then that would have fixed it. A lot of times we get the same issue that presented on that dump truck as happens on our dump trailers, some of our other dumping devices, where the guys just run it out of battery. and then when it runs out of battery, it gets some air in the lines, and then when the air's in the lines, it won't lift all the way up. Or if it comes back down with some air in the lines, it'll dump all of the hydraulic fluid out of the reservoir, or into the reservoir, out of the lines and out of the canister, and that overflows the reservoir and makes for quite a mess. So anyways, we were having that issue with that truck. Typically bleeding the lines out and everything will fix it, but after he bled all the lines out, he noticed that the fluid still has air in it, which tells me that the problem is going to continue even if he fixed it for a couple days. Eventually it's going to come back, and there's really no obvious spots where it's broken that we could just order apart or replace a hose. So there's a good chance we'll put all new hoses on it and a new canister. I mean, hell, if we have to, we'll put a new pump on it. None of that stuff's really that expensive compared to how much value those dump trucks add to our fleet. But we're not going to just dump all new parts in it. That's why we take it to the pros. So hopefully they'll save us some money and just fix the part that needs fixed.